No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of Friday Night SmackDown for September 22nd, 2023. It is the fall season now. We kicked off SmackDown with John Cena. WWE is now billing John Cena as the greatest of all time. Is he the greatest? What about Hulk Hogan? What about Stone Cold Steve Austin? What about The Rock? Definitely could be argued that he's the greatest of all time. Chat room, let me know your thoughts. By the way, there is some news to discuss on tonight's live stream. Stay tuned. After I finish recapping SmackDown, I will give my thoughts on the latest news regarding WWE releases. That will be coming up shortly. John Cena welcomed everyone to another sold-out show in Glendale, Arizona, which is near Phoenix. Cena talked about all the things he's been doing. Guest host, guest referee, crowd did the what chants. He said he doesn't want any of those roles in Phoenix. He wanted to compete on SmackDown. He said he was willing to fight the bloodline by himself, but he had a phenomenal partner to work with him. He brought AJ Styles to the ring. Styles said, "You want some bloodline? Come get some." Jimmy and Solo came down. They teased the match, but Jimmy stepped off the apron, as did Solo. Little tease for the main event segment. John Cena being teased for a match on SmackDown. Did it happen? Stay tuned. Good opening segment here, by the way. John Cena and AJ Styles backstage spoke with Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce said he needed to talk to Paul Heyman to get the deal done. We had our first match of the evening, which was Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar of the LWO against the Street Profits. Rey had some early momentum. He sent both Profits to the outside, but then as he was going for his sliding splash to the outside, Dawkins pulled forward out of the way. Rey crashed and burned. Profits took control for a while, but then Santos got a hot tag, came in, top rope Hurricane Rana to Ford. Ford kicked out. He tried to hit the Phantom Driver, but was unsuccessful. Profits regained the upper hand, but then Rey tagged back in. Santos came in. Things broke down. Bobby Lashley, who was on the outside of the ring, he picked up Rey while the referee was distracted and slammed him on the apron. Then he told Dawkins to finish off Rey. Now here's the angle. Dawkins hesitated. The moment of hesitation turned out to be his downfall because Rey was able to counter a powerbomb attempt and picked up the 1-2-3 victory. And the announcers brought up how the Profits are seemingly struggling to find their killer instinct. More on that in just a moment. We had footage shown of Fury yelling at the announcers after a video was shown recapping The Rock's appearance. He was not happy with them. He went backstage, argued with Adam Pearce. Brawling Brutes confronted Fury. Grayson Waller came in, said the Brutes are jealous of their success, so the Brutes challenged them to a tag team match. Then we saw Bobby Lashley with the Street Profits backstage, and Lashley said he wants it all back, the suits, everything, because if they cannot pull it off, as far as he's concerned, they can go sit in catering. I like the angle. Now, I don't think it's stupid booking, as Matthew said, because I feel like this is leading to a full-blown Street Profits heel turn. I like it because I feel like the Profits just suddenly being heels with Lashley, it's a little hard to believe, although they have been struggling. I like that this is being gradually done, like they're descending into darkness. Like now their losing streak is continuing. Lashley's trying to get them to have that killer instinct. I actually think it's well done, and I do think it's leading to the Profits going full-blown heel and completely ditching the whole partying aspect of their characters. The fun and games will soon be over. Like they're kind of transitioning, I think. So I really liked it. I thought this was actually pretty well done. And speaking of pretty stuff, we'll get to Pretty Deadly in just a few moments. We had an Alba Fire and Isla Dawn vignette. They are still a thing. I guess WWE is going to try and rehab them and get them back on track. We had Asuka and IYO SKY for the Women's Championship, IYO defending the title. They got a lot of time for this. First up, there was a video package. They had a video package to set up the match, hyping up Asuka's success, her undefeated streak, all the titles. IYO SKY managing to blaze her own trail coming from Japan. And the match actually got 2 commercial breaks. They got a lot of time. This had to have been the longest women's match on WWE television in quite some time. I'm not sure who keeps track of all the stats, but I'm willing to bet that this was one of the longer women's matches in recent WWE history, especially on free TV. You did have Charlotte out there, and of course, my first thought process is, oh, they're going to do all the shenanigans. And we did get a little bit of outside antics, but it was at the very end, and it actually worked out quite nicely and didn't really take away from the match, in my opinion. But it was very competitive. It was back and forth. IYO got to show off her offense, some springboard missile drop kicks, and Asuka tried to use some submission holds on IYO. IYO was able to get out of those, and Bayley was on the outside doing some trash talking. Asuka even came off the top with a missile drop kick, showing off her agility and her athletic ability, and she also continued the offense with the spinning back fists, the kicks. Could not finish off IYO, though. And then Asuka tried to go up top, and that's when IYO jumped up and did like a double stomp to the head of Asuka, sending her to the outside. And Asuka tried to kick IYO, but missed and hit the ring post. IYO then hit her top rope moonsault to the outside. They got back in the ring, traded shots. Asuka applied the Asuka lock, but IYO escaped. Then Asuka reapplied it. IYO was on the verge of losing, but then Bayley grabbed the foot while the referee wasn't looking and then told the referee, hey, her foot's on the rope. So she cheated. Charlotte went over and attacked Bayley, but the distraction was enough for IYO to recover, and she picked up the win with the moonsault in the ring, got the 1-2-3 victory to retain the title. Really good match here, and I felt like the finish, yeah, you had the interference and whatnot, but it wasn't over the top, in my opinion. I felt like they did just enough, so it was clear Asuka was on the verge of winning, but IYO kicked out of a lot of stuff. It was very competitive, and just a little help, a little bit of an assist, and IYO was able to retain the title. And they did announce Charlotte versus Bayley for next week, which not really sure I'm going to have much investment in that, because Bayley is the women's eater of pinfalls, let's face it. We had Adam Pearce backstage meeting with the Bloodline with a contract, and Heyman said they're not doing the match on SmackDown. And keep in mind, this is into the second hour now, so a little bit of a bait and switch. Heyman said it'll happen at Fastlane, or Pierce said it. One of them said it, but they're not doing the match on SmackDown. They teased John Cena wrestling on SmackDown, but they did not deliver. And Heyman said they will sign the contract in the ring, but he would have to get approval from Roman Reigns first before they do the match. We had as I mentioned earlier, I alluded to it, a pretty deadly vignette showing the long road to recovery for Elton Prince. And they displayed the hashtag Elton Strong. So I guess this is going to be several weeks. They're trying to keep these guys in the public eye. I always say out of sight, out of mind. And WWE clearly has plans for Pretty Deadly. Doesn't want them off TV, and this is a good way to keep them on the show and give them something to do as Prince recovers from his injury. We had another tag team match. We had the Brawling Brutes versus Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Another good match here. I have to say the wrestling on this show was really good for WWE standards. Like, WWE tends to do short TV matches, but this was a very wrestling heavy edition of SmackDown. And the matches, there weren't a lot of matches, but every match got a good amount of time on this show. So if you're into the longer matches, then this SmackDown was for you. Brawling Brutes with some early momentum. They did the stereo 10 beats, but then Theory and Waller took control. Butch had to snap the fingers of Waller to get over to his partner. Holland tagged in, did some of his power moves, power slam, Alabama slam, but could not put away Theory. He applied a Boston Crab, and then Butch on the outside of the ring got Waller in a sleeper, but was backed into the ring post. Waller came into the ring, hit the rolling stunner, and then Theory picked up the win clean with A-Town down. I'm really liking the Waller and Theory tag team. I definitely think that this is the right way to go with Theory as opposed to him doing the singles run. I really like them being a team, and they definitely have the chemistry together. And yeah, they won clean here. Nice victory for these guys, and they definitely can use victories like this if you want to build these guys up as the future of WWE. So well done here. Good match here, and Theory and Waller definitely looking strong in this one. We then had our main event segment, the contract signing. However, John Cena was in the ring, and AJ Styles was not there because he was attacked backstage by Solo and Jimmy. They beat him down, and Jimmy placed AJ on some production equipment, and there was a platform. Solo jumped off the platform with a splash. Now, we did not see it. I'm sure there was padding to protect both guys, but yeah, basically Solo jumped off this platform. We did not see the actual landing, but looked pretty cool. And AJ was hurt badly. Cena came in, but he was too little too late. You had Adam Pearce, all the officials. They had to take out AJ Styles in an ambulance. You had the OC there, and Carl Anderson was like, I did not want AJ involved in this. I tried to warn him. So they're teasing dissension between AJ and the OC, so we'll see where that goes. We then had the remainder of the segment. Bloodline came to the ring. Solo threw out the table and the chairs, Heyman got on the mic, was getting a ton of heat. He said that John Cena is the second greatest of all time, of course, Roman Reigns being number one, and said that John Cena signed the contract without a tag team partner. Now, here's something really interesting. My thought process was LA Knight, right? But the fans in the arena were thinking otherwise. They were chanting for The Rock. And I feel like they're setting themselves up for disappointment with that one. But it's interesting to me that LA Knight, as hot as he is, The Rock comes in, all of a sudden people want The Rock, which is unfortunate. You know, they should be about the guy that's currently there, who's got the momentum. Apparently, LA Knight was supposed to be on the show, but for medical reasons could not appear, and they had to change plans. Nobody showed up except for John Cena. He came out there and he tried to fight off the bloodline, but he was overwhelmed and they beat him down. Samoan Spike, and then Jimmy came off the top with a big splash, signed the contract, and then came off the top with another splash. So that's where things stand. John Cena has no partner. LA Knight, I mean, he was not cleared to appear on this show. What are they going to do here? AJ Styles taken out of the equation. It was definitely an intriguing ending to the show. I did like the angle, but I'm curious to see where this is all going and what they're going to do. If LA Knight's not cleared, is Styles going to come back? Are they going to somehow get The Rock to show up? Like, I guess we'll have to wait and see. It was an intriguing ending to the show. The crowd was definitely wanting to see somebody come out there and save the day, but nope. And what's funny is there were several minutes left too. So it's like a lengthy beatdown and like, I'm waiting. Is somebody coming? Nobody showed up. Guess John Cena doesn't have that many friends, right? It's one of those scenarios. But yeah, obviously behind the scenes, WWE had to come up with something here on short notice. The word is that LA Knight tested positive for COVID. So, I mean, yeah, he was not cleared on this particular night, but maybe he'll be cleared for next week in time. I mean, Fastlane's coming up pretty soon, 2 weeks away. I mean, certainly he should be good to go by then. Overall, good show. It was a very wrestling-heavy show, but also they did set up this match for Fastlane. Have a few super chats here. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat, says, do you think Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso implode at Fastlane? I don't think it's going to happen that quickly, but I could see them losing. In fact, I would say it's a safe bet they do lose at Fastlane. And yeah, that could further the dissension amongst the bloodline. But I don't see the actual breakup happening at Fastlane. Rage of Wrestling, Walter Cruz sent in $5. Thank you, Walter. Says, we know what LA Knight be and John Cena versus Bloodline, but imagine if it's The Rock and John Cena as a warm-up match leading to Roman. I'm not expecting that to happen, especially on short notice. Like, I think LA Knight, if it's COVID, I think he'll be back in time for the pay-per-view. I don't see The Rock wrestling at any event other than WrestleMania. I really don't. I would not put money on it. If The Rock's doing a match, he's going to do a match in a stadium at WrestleMania. That's it. I don't think he's coming back and doing like Royal Rumble or even Elimination Chamber in Australia. I think if he's coming back, it's WrestleMania and WrestleMania only. But thank you for the super chat, Walter, and thank you, Building Nexus. WWE Fan 2000 GEO sent in $5. Thank you for that. Says, I thought the last hour of SmackDown was done very well, especially with that last segment. Great review, Aaron. I appreciate it. And I do think that given the circumstances, I think they did a very good job. Of course, fans are going to wonder watching at home, why didn't LA Knight show up? Where was any of the other guys? John Cena's this beloved figure. You would think that somebody out there would come out to help him. And that's one of the things, I try not to read too much into it. It is a logic hole, but things happen. And in this case, LA Knight reportedly got COVID. The This Guy Experience sent in $2. Thank you for that. Says, too bad they canned Dolph Ziggler. He could have helped. Haha. Well, yeah, Dolph Ziggler could have helped. Any number of guys could have helped. They could have had Mansoor come out there. He's an entertaining guy. Why not? They could have had, well, not Matt Riddle. We'll get to Matt Riddle in just a second. But yeah, Matt Riddle was John Cena's bro at one point. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, imagine if Brock Lesnar came out to help Cena. That would probably be their go-to guy. Like, let's say, I hope this is not the case, but let's say LA Knight was not cleared for Fastlane. Brock Lesnar would be a great choice. Like, bring him in, pay him. He'll do whatever they want him to do. I could see that in an emergency situation. In case of fire, break glass, you get Brock Lesnar. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, do you think Roman Reigns is going to forget everything Jimmy did? No, and I think that will play into whatever this storyline is once Roman Reigns comes back. Jimmy's trying to get in with the bloodline, get back in the fold. So likely what's going to happen here is Roman Reigns will have to regain Jimmy's trust, and we'll see what happens with that. But if they lose, as I mentioned earlier, that could cause more issues. And I expect that the bloodline will continue to split off, and it's not going to be a reunion or anything. Walter Cruz, Rage of Wrestling, sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Walter. I appreciate it. Says, so what was Matt Riddle's reaction to the news? Hey, Matt, sorry you're fired. We wish you the best. Matt replies, bro. And that's the end of the call. That probably was how he reacted. He got the message and he's like, bro. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Matt Riddle here. We did have some more names confirmed to have been released from WWE, including Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle's gone, and I'm not surprised. Yes, he was a pretty big star in WWE. He was over, and they might have been able to get some mileage out of him with a heel turn. But behind the scenes, the guy was trouble. He had a lot of issues. There were accusations made towards him during that Me Too movement. There was the reported drug test failure. There was that incident at the airport a few weeks ago where he accused a cop of sexually assaulting him, and then he deleted the post that he wrote on Instagram. As far as WWE is concerned, you have to look at it from a PR standpoint. They have so many people under contract. They're cutting people because they're trying to trim the fat. They see this guy as bad PR. Like, he's already had several chances, several incidents, and, there's other people that are not getting in trouble and not having drama behind the scenes. So at the end of the day, they just got to cut their losses with him. I think that's what happened here. It sucks for him, but at the end of the day, I think his own personal well-being is most important. And to me, it seems like he's got some things he has to work out in his personal life and get it together. If that happens, I think he would deserve another chance in WWE. And will he get it? Perhaps. I hope so. I hope whatever's going on in his personal life, he can work it out, and WWE can feel like they can invest in him again. Maybe he goes to AEW, but I feel like Tony Khan might pass on him for now because of all the stuff going on in his personal life. Like, I could see if Riddle doesn't have any issues over the next year or so, and maybe grinds on the indie scene, maybe grinds in Impact Wrestling, maybe Tony Khan will bring him in, or maybe WWE will bring him back. But I do not see him going to AEW right away. That would surprise me, given the issues that he's got going on in his personal life. And, there is that 90-day non-compete, but I still think Tony's going to wait, especially when he's got other people he can sign right now and bring in for the cheap pop on TV, the return pop, Shelton Benjamin, and maybe a few others, Mustafa Ali, Dolph Ziggler. I think he's going to wait on Riddle. And we did have some other names, lower tier NXT people. They did release Dana Brooke. I feel bad for her because she seems like she really wants to succeed, and maybe AEW will give her a chance again. It's hard to say how many people they're going to bring in because they already have an overcrowded roster, and there's enough people that are struggling to get TV time. I think Impact will give her a shot. So for everybody that got released, Mr. Tito summed it up well. Like, this is your chance. Show them they were wrong. Go out there, grind harder than you've ever grinded before, bust your asses, and prove to them that they made a mistake. I mean, that's what you got to do, and maybe one day they'll be brought back. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, Impact Wrestling, Riddle versus CM Punk in a triple cage. I don't think Punk's going to Impact. I know that's a joke question, but yeah, I do not see CM Punk going to Impact. And Riddle, maybe. He would be probably their biggest star if he did show up in Impact. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, seriously, I hope Matt Riddle is healthy mentally. Absolutely. I hope whatever's going on, he can get his head straight and get some stability in his life. All in all, very good SmackDown this week. I mean, I'm going to give it a solid B. Wasn't perfect, but wrestling was very good. And I did like the ending angle. Not at the level of last week, but last week you did have The Rock. So, you can't really expect this week's show to level up with last week's show. Endeavor Representative sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, let's talk about how Vince would not listen to me and Fox told him to take a hike. I win again. I'm not really surprised by that news as far as USA Network getting the rights to SmackDown. It was still an increase, but it is a downgrade in the sense that you will have fewer people watching SmackDown. SmackDown gets about 2.5 million viewers, 2.4, 2.5 on network TV. And going to USA Network, I mean, they might get half that. I'm not even sure they'll get as many as Raw. They might get 1.3, 1.4 million. So that's a negative. Like, WWE's going to be making good money and SmackDown's going to be secure for 5 years, but they're also going to have less exposure. And I think that's why the stock dropped for TKO after that news came out, because, cable TV is great and all, but network TV is better. And I'm really curious to see where Raw goes now. Does NBC Universal pick up Raw and NXT and have everything? Or does WWE get Raw and NXT on a streaming service or another station? So it'll be interesting to see where Raw and NXT go at this point. Rage of Wrestling sent in a $10 super chat. Thank you for that, Walter. I very much appreciate it. Says, Matt Riddle was making WWE look bad, plus Uncle Dana hates the guy, Dana White. Might be hard to come back. Khan needs to focus on his own homegrown talent. True. And keeping MJF for 2024, not signing all of these releases. I agree with you. I mean, that would be terrible. Like, if MJF leaves, that's a huge blow. They got the Elite, so they're safe with those guys. They signed their new deals, but beyond the Elite, like Kenny Omega and Young Bucks specifically, if they lose MJF, that's going to be rough, because MJF, he's the world champion. He's been champion for almost a year. Best promo in the company. And he delivers in the ring. I know people say, oh, he's not that great in the ring. Well, every big match he's been in, he's delivered as far as I'm concerned. Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, and just every match he's done. Adam Cole, they've all been great. And you know what? I think MJF deserves the best deal possible. We'll see what happens with that. Endeavor Representative sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, Fox used to advertise Austin, Undertaker, and Triple H each week. I wonder if they dropped them because they weren't getting those people. I think that maybe Fox got a little bit of buyer's remorse because they were paying a lot. And with network television, you do have higher expectations. But SmackDown was doing really good numbers the last several weeks. Especially the 18 to 49 demo. USA made them a great offer, and at the end of the day, WWE is going to go where they can get the best financial offer, and might have been a great move by USA Network to pick up SmackDown. SmackDown's a hot show, but the question is, what's it going to be like a year from now? Will WWE decide? And I think a lot of this depends on where Raw and NXT go. But if Raw and NXT go on a larger platform, WWE may decide to make Raw the A show, and SmackDown might go back to the dark period pre-SmackDown Live, where it's a secondary show and USA Network might get screwed. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's very interesting. USA Network, NBC Universal getting the rights to SmackDown starting in October of 2024. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the very latest. A lot of news going on. It's been very busy. Thank you all for your continued viewership and support. I very much appreciate it. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Tell a friend, spread the word. We'll be back with a NoDQ review. Should be a very interesting debate and discussion. That'll be Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Remember, say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.